postseason is chugging along. Dolphins offseason is chugging along. So I hear a lot of stuff and about the cap and what we're going to do, and it's very complicated. I don't claim to have all the answers. But I did invest tons of time over the years to kind of get it. And I hear people saying the cap does not exist. And a lot of people had said that. And I know they understand the cap, but they were presenting something, but it wasn't fully fleshed out. And a lot of people are holding on to this. The cap does not exist. Now, there is some reality to this. If you don't understand two concepts, you're not going to get this thing. The cap is ultimately flexible like a Romanian gymnast, but at a certain point, it becomes untenable. You're screwed, okay? We had it after the suit thing. You saw the Patriots after they signed all their guys, and it's because there's two portions of money. And if you don't understand these two portions, the salary, which is flexible, you cut a guy, you get that money off your books, done. Then there's guaranteed, and in that guaranteed is fully guaranteed, like no matter what happens, you got to pay it. And then there's guaranteed if A, B, and C happens, and that you can get back on your books too. So I'll get into these two things in more depth because I want to cover that quickly because you have to understand this. And it really ties in this guaranteed money and how it hits your books is the reason I think we'll see Hunt and Wilkins possibly hit free agency because there is a binding. And I'll show you that once you understand these two concepts. But then I want to get into the offensive line situation. Tehran has said some things. It's very clear on that front. And then we're seeing what the value is for Hunt. And so I'm going to go over that as well. So these two concepts, I'm going to hit it quick, is what I want to talk about. Now, I'm still doing a Twitter thing. I'm trying to get, my game up on it. I am Curtis at Phins News 1. Help me out. Give me some pointers. I'm trying to do this thing. I need some support. I think it's right. Curtis at Phins News 1. Yeah, it's like a fish guy with muscles on it. That's me. And then I'm going to do the live on Friday because I'm going to really try to pull this all together. I want to hear what you guys are thinking about the cap. It is very interesting, very, very interesting, very, very complex. So I want to kind of get a to and fro and work out the situation, going over the roster, whatever questions you have, whatever ideas you got. Maybe you can answer some of my questions and we can work it out together. So that'll be 10 p.m. Friday. And then I'm going to try something different. Some of the guys over here have been saying, why don't I try to cover a game live? So I'm obviously watching all the games like a maniac, pouring my eyes over it. But I'm going to cover the Chiefs versus Bills game. I'll have it running live in the background. I'll give it a shot. Why not? See what happens. So if you want to come join me there, you can experience my experience watching the Bills versus the Chiefs. So that's it, guys. Before I get into all that stuff, the likes, the subscribes, the comments, the views, it keeps me doing the thing I love to do. I love studying this stuff. I love answering your comments and learning from you guys. I get so many good ideas and thoughts, and I really enjoy doing this gig. But all that stuff keeps me in this business doing this thing that I love to do. So I want to thank you. I want to give you a shout out. Shout out to A-Spread, my sponsor, because without the two of you, this show ain't going down. Ace Per Head's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. You can move the guaranteed money. You can't move the partially guaranteed. Some of this partially guaranteed stuff is if you're on the roster at this time, if you play this game, you get this bonus. You can't move that. But the fully guaranteed money you can move. And I'm going to use Tehran as an example and show you how you kind of get forced into certain things and you can't do something like, just have no cap because the salary and the guaranteed money create two different scenarios. So here's Tehran's contract. See 2024, that's a horizontal circle, And then you can see that the base salary is in the red from top to bottom. That's totally, you can cut a guy and you get that off your books. Now, the rest, the orange little square here, that's all different kinds of guaranteed money. There's fully guaranteed and then there's partially guaranteed. And we can move the fully guaranteed stuff. Teron was guaranteed $30 million. But last year, Greer needed more money for this season, so he pushed guaranteed money from 22 into 23, or 23 into 24. So he needed money in 23, so he pushed the 23 guaranteed money to 24. And if you look, you'll see the blue square is dead money. And then the green is cap savings. Because Greer moved money from 23 to 24, if we cut Teron, it would be $24 million on the books. And if you move the salary off the books, when you add it all up, we'll lose $4 million to cut Teron. And so, guys, you have minus $41 million. The only thing you can move forward is guaranteed money. That means you have to go to one of your biggest guys, sign them, kind of reorchestrate the contract and push that guaranteed money forward. Now, a guy like Teron, people are like, why don't we cut him? Look, he's all injured. When you move the money, you can't. So as you push that money into the future, you're forcing yourself to keep this player and take a huge hit. And when you do it over and over with multiple players, it keeps stacking up into the future. And you keep pushing it forward and you use a credit card to pay another credit card and credit card to pay the credit card. Eventually, they say cut your credit cards because you have to do something. And so at negative $41 million, the only thing they can do is move some of this big money. Say, as I said in my last podcast, sign Tua to a long-term contract. He's getting 23 on the fifth-year option. That means you could push it all to next year. But then you've got to make that choice to do it, and then you're putting $23 million on the books for next year. And then you got to deal with that. And we are not in cap-friendly space in 25 and 26. So if we sign or tag, say, Wilkins, and he doesn't want the contract we give him, and he's got to play on that fifth-year option, it's $20 million, 21 just about, locked into the season that they can't move. And this is the problem. This is why I think Greer is saying, hey, Hunt can test free agency, Connor can test free agency. A lot of these guys that want the big contracts, they can test free agency because the only option is to make a deal with them, but he doesn't want to pay them what they're worth or what they think they're worth because he has Waddle coming up due next year. He's got to add Tua to the books if he wants to keep him. And you got $65 million next year, and then you got $114 a year after that. But the whole roster, you got 36 next year, and then 21 players on the roster next year. It's a lot of money. And so we've pushed money forward and forward and forward and forward. And it's like this. If you go back and look, let's take an example. When Chris Greer signed Van Noy to like a $50 million contract, and then 1 year into the contract decided to cut him so he could piss off and spite Flores, all that money got jammed up into that season. And he did it so he could free money up in 2022 when the new regime was coming in. So you can't just cut people. That guaranteed money is locked in. Now, we go into Teron. He said, I am not retiring. He's earned that money, and he's not going to lose it. And he played well enough. He was the number one tackle in the league to allow the least amount of pressures. Now, he didn't have a great season, in my opinion. He was beat up. You got to remember, how fast the football comes out makes everybody's job easier. Teron had a very good, the year before it was 2.6 this seconds per pass. This year it's 2.3. Last year was a much better year as far as real production, real context production than this year. But he still played phenomenal. So he's like, I want my money this year. I'm not retiring because then you can get the money back. So we're locked in and we can't cut him because it would be $24 million. All right. So we have to understand Teron's on the roster next year. We can't get rid of him. He's going to be more beat up next year than this year. He's still going to play great if we get the ball out super fast. But if we have to get it out super fast, it means that we're running into problems. But Teron is going to be here 100%. And you got Teron, you got Jackson, you got Cotton. Last time I totally forgot about it. I said you got those three guys. I forgot Eichenberg. We got Eichenberg. Those are 4 guys on the roster right now. Now, I want you to take a look at this. This is Hunt. If you go look at the free agency market right now, it can change. We don't know who's getting cut. But you've got Dotson, Kevin Dotson from the Rams, who's a darn good guard. He's a free agent. And then you got Zeitler from the Ravens, huge guy. He's a free agent. That's like 1 and 3. PFF ranks Hunt number 2. After those 3 guys, you got Dalton Risner, who nobody wanted, and he's not all that good. He's okay. So you got a 3-man guard market, and offensive linemen are absolutely a premium. Right now, PFF has him making $17.5 million per year with a $70 million deal and $42 million guaranteed as the baseline of his possible free agency run. If we tag him, it's somewhere, I think it's around 20 anyway. It's higher, it's 15 to 20. So he's going to go out there. People understand how valuable the guard market is. They need these guys to get your offense running. So you're talking $17.5 million per year. And then even if you tag him or Wilkins, you're talking 15 to 20 million locked into this year at negative 41, which would make you negative 61 with a tag. So I think without a doubt, Hunt is going to have a very big market. I've said teams like the Jets, why not? They got the money to do it. They just push it forward. They can do that, and they need it, and they would stick it to us. Well, one of these other teams out there definitely is going to look at him and pay him maybe even more than that. We're priced out most likely out of the Hunt market. We cannot tag him. We could sign a major contract to push it forward. But then, like I said, you got Holland coming up, Waddle coming up, Tua if you want to sign him. And we don't have a lot of money or players signed over the next 2 years. So I'm going by what Greer said. Free agency, no strings. I'm going by what these guys are going to earn. Wilkins almost had 10 sacks. The guy's never injured. Great leader, character. Somebody will overpay. And you could say it's overpaying, but hey, every year the cap goes up. The price of these guys go up. And so eventually it works out. Now, like I said, we could sign guys. We cut guys like, X, who's probably going to get cut. We get $18 million. I think it's like 9 or 4 or 5 dead money. It'll accelerate. But you'll get 18, so you probably, that's good. But then you're going to have to replace him. But I just don't see how Wilkins and Hunt fit in our future, short-term, long-term. We just really kind of went all in on 2023. And everyone wanted the all-in, but now this is it. I hope I'm wrong. I just don't see how these numbers work. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy. We're going to have to draft a guard. But we got a first and a second. That's it. And we're 21st. So, I'm going to go through the history of our drafting of offensive linemen. You're going to see Hunt's like the best guy we've gotten since maybe Tunsil, but anybody could have drafted Tunsil. You could be like, retarded and half dead, and you would have drafted Tunsil. So it's not like a rocket science. But all the other ones we barely hit. We barely try to draft offensive linemen. We failed at most of it, like 80, 90%. So we're going to have to use one of those first 2 picks because Teron's going to be gone next year. So who do you get to fill there? And it takes these guys a year or 2 to figure it out unless they're ultra elite. So there's a lot of work to be done, a little bit of money to really do it, and not much ammo as well. I mean, good news, Teron and Jackson here. I'm not a big fan of Jackson, but it's somebody you got. But this is going to be very, very interesting. And I do think Hunt and Wilkins will hit free agency, among others. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I want to get back to you some more. Catch me on the live Friday, 10 p.m. Go over to roster building. Maybe I got some things wrong you guys could point out. And then catch me on my trying to watch the game live. Bills versus KC. I'm torn. I don't like KC, though. I don't. Anyway, Kurt saying, catch you next time. Be well. Go Phins. Start building your own online sportsbook today by getting signed up with acebread.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.